Okay, so today, guys, I want to share with you the Metro 2 compliance credit disputing strategy. Now, it's known, but I don't think that it's widely used by disputers. I'm not sure if it's just because people have not caught on yet, but however, it's very efficient, effective, and it works. And so I want to talk to you guys and just kind of show you just a little bit about how I dispute using the Metro 2 compliance method and get really good results. So Metro 2 compliance is actually the credit reporting standard that the credit bureaus actually came up with for themselves. So basically they came up with the standard to hold themselves to for credit reporting. Now, every creditor, every collection agency, and every credit reporting agency, they have to use a Metro 2 compliant software to report all of their accounts to the credit bureaus. Okay, so see, a lot of people think that the credit bureaus are just kind of sitting in there getting in information and they're putting in this information themselves, and that's not how it works. Everyone has a software. Everyone who reports to the credit bureaus has to have a Metro 2 compliant software to report on, and I'll get to the reason why in just a second. Metro 2 compliant software has fields set up in it. Now, the credit bureau's Metro 2 compliance policy has a tune of 46 compliant based fields in it for credit reporting. Now, some are mandatory and some are only as needed. The fields that are mandatory have to be filled in to the credit report, and it has to be filled in correctly. Now, where we can kind of get in to get things removed is that sometimes the creditor, the collections agency, or the credit reporting agency does not completely fill in all the fields, because it's a lot of fields and each account has different fields. Like if you have a charge off, then there's going to be different mandatory fields, and if you have a collection, again, different mandatory fields. And even if it's a medical bill, there's a whole different field form for that as well. So it has to be put in, and it has to be put in correctly. Even bankruptcies have their own mandatory prospective fields that need to be filled in and filled in correctly via Metro 2 compliant software by the consumer reporting agency who's actually reporting this information to the credit bureaus. It has to be filled in, and it has to be filled in correctly. So remember that in your DIY dispute process using this method. So now, as we all know, once the credit bureaus receive our dispute letters, they feed this information into their software called eOscar. eOscar then determines what the dispute is about, what we're disputing, who to reach out to concerning the dispute, and they reduce that down to a simple code that their system understands. And so once they've done that, then they reach out to the creditor, the collection agency, or whomever you're disputing this against. They reach out to them for validation. They want to validate the account, whatever your dispute reasons are. Basically, the eOscar system opens up an investigation. So of course, there's never an actual human actually handling the investigation when used through the eOscar system. But when you are disputing using the Metro 2 compliance strategy, you want it to go through eOscar, right? So this is probably going to be some of you guys' first times ever hearing a credit disputer say you want it to go through eOscar, but this is when you want it to get put through that eOscar software. When disputing using this method, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to download the Metro 2 compliance guidance guide. It's a resource guide, and I actually have it here. Yeah, so once you've downloaded that guide, you're definitely going to have to do some studying. This is a little more intricate than actually factual disputing, because factual disputing, you can look at something and say, hey, that's not my account number, or my name is wrong. And it's pretty simple. But using the Metro 2 compliance strategy to dispute, you're going to have to do your study, and you're going to have to learn the standards. Okay, so we know that there's 46 base fields. But however, there also is so much more information to learn before you actually launch your disputing Metro 2. Please download the guide and resource guide and go through it tremendously. Read, research, take your time and go through all that before, because you don't want to be disputing for nothing because you're not doing it right and you don't have your codes right, because we're going to have to put in codes. So I want to go over a quick reference guide of the industry standards with you guys real quick, and I'm going to be showing it on the screen as I'm kind of just talking you through it, just so that when you do download the actual guide, because it's over 300 pages long, I don't want you to get confused and like not know where to go and just say forget it. So just very quickly, I just wanted to show you a few of the standards. So the first one I want to show you guys is the banking, savings, and loan credit union installment loan and line of credit standard. So if you look there, you can see in the fields what the portfolio type, account type, credit limit type, all that stuff is in the fields. This is how it is supposed to be reported from the creditor or collection agency. Okay, so this is how it's supposed to be reported. These are the fields that are supposed to be filled in and filled in correctly. And again, I'm just showing you so that when you see it in the PDF, it'll make sense and you won't, not have any idea what you're looking at. Debt buyers and collection agency standards. Here they are, and there are a lot of them, and they break them and mess them up all the time. So loan and finance company standards, mortgage lending standards, even student loan and federal loan standards. So I mean, they have lots of standards, and even more than what I just showed you guys on the screen, just to kind of give you a more visual of what it actually looks like when you're actually disputing using those specific codes. I want you to go to the description and download the PDF. Okay, and once you've done that, if you're interested in kind of seeing what this looks like actually as a disputed document, come back to the video so you can kind of see it and I can walk you through it. It's best to use the actual form to kind of get a visual with me as I'm walking you through, and it'll break down the actual codes that you'll be putting in on your disputes so that eOscar knows what you're disputing. So this particular form in your Metro 2 compliance guide is under the records layout tab, and I'm going to show you a quick picture of what the form looks like. It is the form that has your 46 base segment character format fields on it. Okay, so here's a picture of that, and so I want you to go by the fields on the form with me as I show you how I will be disputing and how I will be marking off my dispute form to use the Metro 2 compliance strategy. Okay, so here is a client's credit report. So we're not really going to pay any attention to TransUnion or Equifax because, as you can see, the collection is not even reporting on either of those credit bureaus. The first base field that we will be looking at today on this credit report is, of course, the account, because that's where it starts. So where you see the abbreviations BSCF7, okay, what these abbreviations stand for is base segment character format, and you'll see that on your form if you've went to the PDF to view the 46 character format fields. Okay, so you'll see that, and so you're going to want to put it exactly like how I have it here on this credit report when you're disputing using the Metro 2 standard. Okay, and 7, you're just going to go over back to your form, go under the field that actually says field, and you'll go down to 7, and you'll see where it says this is consumer account number. So when you put the 7 here, so we have BSCF7, so that lets eOscar know that you are disputing the consumer account number. This is how eOscar picks this information up, and eOscar knows exactly what to do with it. Okay, and so the next one is base segment character format 9. So you'll go back to your form again, and you'll see where it says account type. So that's where the 9 comes from. So you'll put a 9 there. Okay, and this is one of those things that is 100% required to be put on the credit report, because if you go back to your form, you'll see under the column that says required, where you see it says a Y, that is yes, and when you see that there is an A, that means that the field is required when applicable. So that's not a necessarily yes, and that's not a necessarily no. That's only if it is applicable. Okay, so where I have on this credit report in bold red, that is, bold red means that it is required. Okay, and so when you see orange, that means that it's only when it's applicable. Okay, so everywhere red, that is required, so that's what we're focusing on. So you see where it says the account type is unknown, and it is required per their Metro 2 compliance standard that they put the account type. Do you understand what I'm saying? So hopefully you guys, you can see where I'm going with this now. Okay, so dispute. And then the third one here, account type, detail, credit card over here. We're also disputing that as well. So, and so on and so forth. So if you follow the base segment character format form, this will help you out greatly. And again, this is just the cusp of learning how to do disputes using the Metro 2 format. So there's a lot more to kind of dive into. I will make future videos. I'm going to try to do this in order. So my next video is more than likely going to be about the Metro 2. Just so that I could get a little more in depth. I don't want to make the video too long, because people tend to kind of drop off after about, I don't know, like 5 minutes. You'll see like they just kind of drop off. But I do want it to be very informative, and I want to, you know, explain things as well as I possibly can for you guys on these videos. And so another thing that I wanted to point out about this here, this, what you're seeing on this credit report, the way that I have it. Now, this does take time. Yeah, it is very much time consuming, but it yields really good results, because what we're doing now, instead of running from having to talk to eOscar per se in our disputes, now we're kind of running to eOscar. We want to speak to eOscar. We want to say, hey, we know what your format is, okay? These are requirements and standards that you have set for yourself, and we're going to hold you to the standard that you've created for yourself. And believe it or not, this strategy yields really good results, because the credit bureaus, they want to honor their thing that they have set for themselves, their standards, okay? And what it does is it holds the collection agencies, the creditors, and so forth accountable for the way that they are entering in our information, okay? The credit bureaus want it to be totally accurate across the board. That's why they came up with the whole Metro 2 format as well. So what we're doing is we're pointing out all of the discrepancies and the missing fields and the things that aren't correct, so that it can be correct. What the credit bureaus usually do when these things are pointed out to them is they go ahead and take the whole account off. Okay, now it's up to the creditors what they do, but they'll take that whole account off the majority of the time, because it's on there incorrectly. And so there is so much more to talk about the Metro 2 dispute strategy format. And like I said, this is just probably about 20% of it. But I definitely, if I were you guys and you wanted to actually learn how to dispute this way, definitely download that PDF and read, and study it. And just gain as much knowledge on it as you possibly can, so that when you do dispute, your disputes will be effective. And I will say this, if you're going to dispute this way, definitely be prepared to put some time in. I think that this method will definitely benefit people who have disputed a few times and have not yielded any good results. If your stuff is still coming back verified, definitely this Metro 2 compliance strategy is this is the thing that you've been looking for sure. And I'm not even a person who likes to give 100% guarantees on anything. But this is really good. This is really yielding some really good results, and it beats factual disputing in such a profound way that I decided to actually come on and make a video about it. Like I said, I don't 100% guarantee anything, and I'm not necessarily 100% guaranteeing this, but this has proven to be a step above factual disputing. When I say factual disputing, I'm talking about, looking for inaccuracies and disputing them. Factual disputing. So this is proven in my business to be a step above from that. And this is really working. This is really, like I said, yielding some really good results. I know that in the comments, at least 10 people are going to ask me, so what verbiage did you use in your dispute? I see where you have the codes marked in. What are you actually saying? So I'm going to read like a short snippet of something that I have put into this particular dispute letter, and it reads this. This consumer note is my official call for you to discontinue reporting of the item above displayed and contested allegation in its reportability and challenged for its evidence certified compliance of the reporting only true, accurate, complete, timely, and or else wise, physically verified and validated claims. Due to at least these few compliance issues in your current reporting, I demand you to prove beyond doubt your claims. This COFF item is deficient as reported, as above displayed in evidence of uncertified HRCF 12, capital 1, questionable, even poor reporting. Per federal reporting regulations, all claims must be to a maximum possible accuracy and a maximum possible completeness, and even the reporting mandates related to the standard of certifiability compliant reporting is that there be no swaying from the Metro 2 format compliance since per CDIA/DNP 34. Any deviation from these standards jeopardizes the integrity of the data. So remove your current, not confirmed nor certified claim of adequate compliance as it is mandated. Okay? Now I know that sounds like a lot, but it's really only like a paragraph, and I read it slow so that you guys could hopefully hear and understand me. You know what? Maybe I'll do a video and kind of put in like some verbiage of different things that you could say. So if this video has helped you at all, please like, share, and subscribe. Comment. If you have any questions, please just leave them in the comments. I definitely will answer them. I always do. And so hopefully next week I will have the time to create a video of me actually going through step by step doing an actual dispute in real time, which is going to take some time. So like if you want me to do that, just like leave a comment or something in the comments to let me know that you actually want me to do it, because it is time consuming, and if people are not really interested, I'm not really going to take the time to do it. Until the next video, bye.